The Calgary Flames didn't make many signings this summer, but their big splash in free agency already has fans frustrated. Anthony Mantha was brought in to rejuvenate Jonathan Huberdeau and to most likely be traded for future assets at the trade deadline, but let's just say it's not going to plan right now, and it looks like the Flames have made a big mistake. Plus, it is Mikael Backlund's 1000th game tonight, all as a Calgary Flame, and we are going to celebrate that. But before we get into all that and more in this video, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. Would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. Let's hop straight in and talk about this big mistake that the Flames unfortunately seem to have made. Did they just make it? No, but the mistakes are piling up when it comes to, kind of the losing streak, which in some ways means things are going to plan, and in some ways it isn't. But just with the whole Matt Coronado and his agent fiasco, and last year it was really nice when the Flames did buy into the youth, and then this year it's so hard to buy a spot in the forward core, especially for any players, especially the youngsters, that it's just become an even bigger mistake. So if we get into this article here by Rupert McDonald, I believe of the Hockey Writers, so he writes, Flames' decision to sign Mantha looks like a mistake. So it seems like the Flames have made a big mistake here, and it was a low risk kind of signing in general when it came to free agency, because everyone thought, look, we can trade him for quite a bit at the deadline like he always goes for, but this year might be a little bit different. So again, things not quite going to plan here, but the sky isn't falling just yet. But the Calgary Flames' great start to the season is quickly being forgotten about thanks to a current 3-game losing streak. The latest of the losses came last night, 2 nights ago now, where they fell to a Vegas Golden Knights team who completely outclassed them from start to finish. The Flames got walloped, were the worst team in every single category, and it was just a big L no matter which way you look at it. This shouldn't be all too surprising, as the Flames were never expected to be a competitive team this season. Their hot start caught everyone off guard, and it looks like they are beginning to regress to the mean. While there are several reasons they're failing to play like they did to start the season, free agent signing Anthony Mantha certainly hasn't helped. And there's, I guess, the big name drop there. And Anthony Mantha has not been great. He scored the Flames' first goal of the season and had a great first game, but otherwise hasn't done loads since then. He was pretty good when the Flames were hot, just like how everyone on the Flames is good when they're hot, but he's been especially stanky now that the Flames have been a little bit stanky. But let's continue. Despite the season only being 9 games in, Flames fans have already witnessed it all from Mantha. He's gone pointless in 6 straight since his hot start, and the compete level has been lacking. It's already at the point where some fans are calling for him to sit out a game or two as a healthy scratch, and that's a crazy way to take it, but if one player sits, that means another can come in. But it's true, Mantha has been a streaky player for his entire career, even before he even came to the NHL. He was supposed to be drafted quite high, and unfortunately, due to his streakiness and maybe, a bit of a lack of a compete level, he fell in the draft. And we know he's a skilled player, has great offensive prowess, has a great shot and everything, but I don't know, he's just a little bit too streaky. The cons might outweigh the pros a little bit too much, and I believe he slipped to somewhere around 20th in his draft year. But either way, trading Mantha may prove difficult. So again, the whole point making this signing was to hopefully rejuvenate Huberdeau, get him a good scoring line mate, but it's also obviously to trade him for future assets at the trade deadline. Should this play continue for Mantha, moving him for a future asset at the deadline may be more difficult than originally expected. He was moved for a 2nd and 4th round selection at the 2024 trade deadline, though that came after scoring 20 goals in 56 games. He's not on pace to obviously hit that, and I do not think that he will go for a 2nd and a 4th. Maybe you could hope for, like a 3rd rounder at this point. It's kind of hard to, gauge the market since there haven't really been any other trades that have been made involving, a scoring winger per se. But it'll be very, very interesting when it does come down to it. While that production remains possible, he's shown little sign as of late that gives fans much optimism. The biggest issue is the fact that he's gained a serious reputation for lazy play across the league, which makes him even more difficult to move. At the very least, fans should really temper expectations when it comes to a return. So if the Flames do ultimately end up trading him, which I'd assume is still the plan, really don't expect much. It won't be an Elias Lindholm trade, let me tell you. Younger players deserving of opportunity. What makes this signing a mistake for the Flames is the fact that Mantha is taking up a roster spot which would be better served for a younger player. If he weren't around, there is a good chance that 21-year-old Matt Coronato would be playing top 9 minutes. Instead, he's in the American Hockey League. And this one is interesting because, sure, younger players and Matt Coronato probably the most deserving, but again, we've been over it in the past couple of videos, especially 2 videos ago. Make sure you go watch that one if you haven't. Crazy situation going on. But it's still not a bad thing for Coronato to be down with the Wranglers. I mean, the Wranglers won once again last night, and guess what? Coronato got 2 goals, was player of the game, was absolutely fantastic. We'd rather have him doing that at the AHL level when we know he can't quite do it at the NHL level yet. Another year down there, or at least another good stint this year before he comes up again, is not a bad thing at all. And it made sense, of course, because he is waiver exempt. But either way, there are a few others that could be benefiting from top 9 NHL minutes as well, including Jacob Pelletier, who is also currently in the AHL. While you can understand what general manager Craig Conroy was thinking by bringing Mantha in, Flames fans are quickly realizing why other fan bases have soured on the 30-year-old throughout his career. And we are unfortunately seeing all of that firsthand, and it's not exactly great. Hopefully he can turn things around and be traded for more, because let's face it, he's not in the plans for the future. So hopefully he can get a little bit hot here. Maybe he can help out Huberdeau a bit, because Huberdeau has also cooled off, and then again, be traded for quite a bit at the deadline. Hopefully all still does go to plan. But let's take a moment to talk a little bit about Mikael Backlund and wish him a happy 1,000. Yes, the Flames have a game tonight, and hopefully they'll be back to, winning ways as they play their first ever game in Utah, which is insane. Mikael Backlund 1,000th game is the first game he's playing in Utah. That's pretty ironic in a way, but this one goes at 7:30 tonight. Utah are a streaky team right now. They kind of had a little bit of a hot start and have been terrible as of late. They gave up a huge lead against San Jose to give the Sharks their first win of the season. So Utah, not exactly the hottest team right now, but if we focus on backs, look at this. That is what he looked like way back in 2007. My goodness, he needs to bring that hairdo back. The spikes of the mid-2000s, oh baby, they really need to be back. Backlund is as handsome as ever today as he was back then, and of course we are wishing him a happy 1,000 games. If we take a quick look into an article here, actually from the NHL itself, there were some great passages. So I like this. Mikael Backlund never envisioned reaching 1,000 games early in his NHL career. In fact, the Flames captain wasn't sure he'd be sticking around long enough when injuries, adversity, and bumps in the road made that number feel unattainable in his early 20s. It was really tough and hard, Backlund told NHL.com. I remember calling my agent saying maybe I should go home, and he said, yeah, there's no way you're going home. My family was really supportive at that time, so he was ready to give up, but certain people, agent, family, they had his back and said, look, you're an NHL player. My career, it wasn't a straight path to the NHL. There were times I wasn't sure I was going to be able to stay in the league a long time. It took a long time to establish myself in this league. Even when I finally did, it wasn't really until I played my 500th game that I was like, it'd be really cool to play another 500. That's the first time I really remember thinking about 1,000. It's something very special. Great quotes there from Bax. And, even at 500, he wasn't so sure. Maybe the career was going a certain way. And sure, sticking with the same organization, loyalty is always a good thing. And, who knows? You could be captain one day and things go your way. So very good for Backlund there. The 35-year-old selected in the first round, 24th overall of the 2007 NHL draft by the Flames is expected to play his 1,000th game when Calgary visits the Utah Hockey Club at Delta Center on Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. He'll become the 397th skater to accomplish the feat, as well as the 19th Sweden-born skater and just the third active to meet the milestone. So a big milestone for Swedish players as well. I remember him. It had to be his first training camp. He had these white skates on, said Mark Giordano, teammates with Backlund from 2009 to 2021, and a member of the 1,000 game club as well. White skates, Backs. Oh my goodness. That is just a fashion faux pas. He came in with all white Reebok skates. He had the long flow going. He might have even had some highlights in his hair. He took a lot of heat for those white skates, as I'm sure he definitely did. You could see right away he was a special player. His two-way game was so good, you knew he was going to play. He got bigger and stronger over the years, and he turned into the player he is. That adversity at the start of his career probably helped him a bunch. So you're telling me if Bax had never worn white Reebok skates, he wouldn't have made it to 1,000 games, let alone even one in the NHL for the Flames? Wow, thank goodness for those skates. Backlund, who is 8th in franchise scoring with 536 points, 202 goals, 334 assists in 999 games, will join former teammate and Calgary captain Jarome Iginla as the second Flames player to skate in his first 1,000 NHL games with the team. That is very cool. Much like earlier in his career, there was some uncertainty in the summer of 2023 as to whether or not he'd accomplish that goal. Backlund, set to become a UFA at the end of 2023-24, signed a 2-year contract last September for the 2024-25 and 2025-26 seasons, in part to ensure he'd get to 1,000 games with Calgary and give himself an opportunity to chase Iginla's franchise record of 1,219 games played. So he's not there quite yet, but still very, very cool. Should be great. Can't wait to celebrate that one. Let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel. It comes from yesterday's video, of course, and it comes from this user here, Stock Market Man. Please teach me about the stock market. I need to know. He said the fourth line has been lousy since Rooney came back. Should be Lomberg, Kirkland, and Klapka. That comment got loads of likes, and Flames fans, as fed up as they are with Mantha, I think Flames fans are also quite fed up with Rooney and starting to get a little bit fed up with Huska changing the lines around and not sticking to what was working. So I do agree, that was a really good fourth line. Hopefully they will be put back together again soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like we saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.